I've been to the border many times as the head of the 2014 task force created to address the alarming number of unaccompanied children coming to the border. I've seen firsthand what a border crisis looks like. So believe me when I say we're once again facing a crisis on our southern border. Not only has the Biden administration repeatedly failed to recognize the crisis even exists, they've stopped construction of the border wall, virtually eliminated enforcement of immigration laws, and reversed Trump administration policies that were so successful in decreasing illegal crossings over the last few years. Just last week, the Secretary of Homeland Security had a troubling and confusing message to those seeking to cross our border illegally. He said, "We're not saying don't come, we're saying don't come now." This will only encourage more illegal crossings at the southern border from those expecting easy access to our nation, overwhelming law enforcement and increasing the potential for human trafficking, child labor, and other criminal and fraudulent activity in border cities across the Southwest. We can't ignore the problem and hope it goes away. Instead of addressing this crisis, Speaker Pelosi has spent the last few weeks focused on a $1 trillion payout to progressives. I urge the Speaker and the Biden administration to get their heads out of the sand and work with us to address this crisis immediately.
Jody Arrington, West Texas. I want to thank our ranking member, John, all rhyme, no rhythm, Catco. The American people are well served to have this man at the helm. He is a former prosecutor. He understands what rule of law means to our great nation and what happens when you don't enforce the laws. You get chaos. And as a Texan, I'm telling you, our people are crying out for help. They're struggling, they're scared, and they're not getting any response, any leadership out of this president. And we are on the front lines in Texas and border states. Our people, your fellow Americans, are at ground zero in this unmitigated disaster. This is a self-inflicted crisis as a direct result of the Biden administration policies, the unilateral actions, the deluge of executive orders, as has been said, reinstating catch and release, rescinding border wall funding and stay in Mexico policies, just to name a few. Policies have consequences. You show me a policy and I'll show you the outcome, and the outcome of these policies have wreaked havoc along the border and in border communities. Double the apprehensions in January. CBP reported just yesterday over 100,000 apprehensions, illegal crossings that we caught in the month of February. Triple the number of migrant children being trafficked across the border by cartels. They're pawns, ladies and gentlemen. These cartels prey on these vulnerable people, and the abuses are atrocious. 1 in every 3 women are sexually assaulted. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportion. The message from this president, who fails to call it a crisis because he has the worst case of suspended reality I've ever seen. The message is clear. The safety and security of the American people is not his top priority. And the message to people who would come to our country and violate our laws and our sovereignty and jeopardize the safety and security of the American people will not be detained and deported. They will be released and rewarded. Free health care, free education, compliments of the taxpayers of the United States. And oh, by the way, with this latest Democrat bill, they'll get a pathway to citizenship. And we wonder why the border is burning. Last question, the most important question for all of you to ask the president, and I know it's the question on the hearts and minds of the American people. Why is it happening? Why is the president allowing this to happen? Well, I believe it's because, number one, he's obsessed with undoing everything, every policy that has the name Donald Trump on it, regardless of the merits of that policy. He's equally obsessed with acquiescing to every demand of the radical left. I yield back.